Hi and welcome to another video. You might be wondering why I haven't been around for a week or so. At the end of the last video I did say I was going to do some experiments. I have had a lot of comments from the last video saying, you know, why have you put your printer back to stock? So we're going to get to that in this video. But first of all, I want to start off by saying a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed to this channel. I can't believe we're over 70 subscribers now. What absolutely blows me away is the fact that it's more than 6,000 total views. 6,000 total, that's unreal. You know what I mean? This is just me, a dull Geordie bloke in England, talking about 3D printing and playing games really badly. But that's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it. I think it's brilliant. It really does spur us on and keep us going to making these videos. So all of the subscribers, all of the viewers, everybody out there, thank you so much. It really does kind of like build us up and make us want to do more. So excellent. Anyway, at the end of the last video, I spoke about turning my printer back into the stock hot end, and a lot of people wanted to know why. Well, there's a reason. I got the E3D V6 as kind of like a backup because, you know, I've flashed my printer, so I don't have a warranty. So I don't want to spend £100 getting the extruder off, sorry, getting the hot end off XYZ. You know, so that the E3D V6 is a cheaper option for me. So I just wanted to make sure it fits and it works. So I've put it back to stock because I want to start doing some comparison tests on it. Now, I've watched Chuck's video from last week, his Friday filament video, links in description. Oh yeah, everybody seems to do this when they say links in description, so I'm going to say links in description. Unless you're on a tablet device, then it's probably over here somewhere, maybe, or it might be up there, or it could, I don't know where it's going to be, but it's going to be in the description. Okay, so that's my YouTube bit over there. Hope you like that. So the link is in the description for Chuck's video, and he did a Thingiverse printer test piece. He did this one. Now it's not very big, and I apologise if I look at the screen of the camera because I need to see where I'm pointing this damn thing. But as you can see, I've printed it out. Now I'm going to cut to some video here of the complimentary time lapse that you have to do, and you'll be able to see it prints out pretty quick. It took about an hour. The print settings were, as Chuck said, they were 0.2mm layer height, 30% fill. I even used the XYZ Nature filament that I have. I've not got much of it left now, but to be exactly the same as him. And I ran the printer at 220 degrees C at the hot end and 90 degrees C on the bed. So it should all be, excuse me, it should all be very much the same as what the stock printer with the stock firmware should do. So as that comes to an end, we'll cut to some still photographs, and I'm going to try and get these photographs in the same way as what Chuck had his photographs, so it's easier to compare. So if we look at the first photograph, Chuck mentioned about the bridging in his video, so I'm going to draw your attention to the bridging. As you can see, we had no failures in this. All of the bridging worked. It is a little lumpy, but it all worked fine. Moving on to the next picture, Chuck talked about the pyramid points on the pyramid and the cone and things, and as you can see, they're all formed perfectly well. The third picture, Chuck talked about the letters, the V-test letters. Now, I wasn't very happy with the way this turned out because it does look rather smooshed up and a little bit illegible, but you know, you can see there's letters there, and if you look closely you can see it says V-test. And on the final photograph we can see the fingers at the top of the print. Now these things turned out really nice. All the gaps are I want to say uniform, but that's not right because they are ununiform. They're supposed to get bigger as you go along, but all the gaps are formed correctly. All the fingers are very straight, so I was very pleased with that. So there you go. That is the test print. That's the comparison with Chuck's Filament Friday video. I didn't have an M4 nut lying about. I know, I'm European, we use the metric system, and I didn't have an M4 nut lying about. But what I did have was this 1/4" drive screwdriver bit. Strange enough, it's the T10 Torx one you've probably seen in other videos. So I'll just quickly show you the test through the hex hole. There you go. It's nice and tight. It's a little bit, I've measured it, an M4 is supposed to be 7mm across the flats, and that is a little bit smaller, which is probably why it grips the 1/4" so well. So there may be some kind of over extrusion problem with my printer, I don't know, but the 1/4" fits it, no problem. So that's it. Think of it what you will. This is the test print comparison for Repair Your Host 0.92. There you go. So what else have I been up to? Well, here's something really special for you. Everybody thinks of the DaVinci the XYZ DaVinci 1.0 printer as being a cheap option. It's not very good. You know, you can't do a lot of stuff with it. Well, I got the 1.0A, as I've mentioned probably millions of times in these videos. People are probably sick hearing us talk about the 1.0A. But this is where it gets important, because there's a difference between the 1.0 and the 1.0A. And the difference is this. This is an Ultrabot, downloaded by... I got it from downloading a copy of Cura, whatever. And I put it in Repair Your Host, and I set it up to print the wood-filled PLA. Now, as you can probably see, I'll try and get it a bit closer. It's just going to go blurry and mad. See if I can hide me. No, can we get it any clearer? Oh yeah, there we go. I'll slowly rotate it so you can see. You probably can't hear us now because I've had to move away from the mic. And you can see it's a little bit melted. Now, I'm not going to draw your attention to the meltedness of it. What I am going to draw your attention to is the existence of it. It worked. It printed out the wood-filled PLA. That's absolutely brilliant. Now, I also found that, I'll see if I can hold both of these up at the same time. This one was printed at 220 or 210 degrees. And this one was printed 20 degrees higher. And as you can see, the colours are different, which I think is pretty impressive. So you can go through your G-code and you can change the temperatures, and you can get, I don't know if you'll be able to see it that way. No, you can't really see it that way. But you can get like a different colour through it, which is pretty cool. I really like the wood fill stuff. I did try a cooling fan on this. When I say a cooling fan, what I mean is a desk fan stuck against the door of the printer with the printer door wedged open on minimum, and you could feel the air coming out the sides of the printer and everything. It was going absolutely crazy. Now, it did work, but it only cleaned up the front of the print. It didn't clean up the back. So if you want to do PLA on a DaVinci 1.0A, you're really going to have to get some kind of cooling fan in there and get that working. There's a few things on Thingiverse. I'm going to kind of look into getting something set up with 80mm fans in the handles and see if we can blow air across the top, or I'll just go for a board and set up and put a cooling fan on it. That's going to show you that in a minute. It's a bit of a spoiler there for you. So what else have I been up to? This, again, with the 1.0A stock extruder, is Colorfab XT copolymer material. Now you've got to print this stuff at like 240 degrees, and it is a nightmare because it did melt an awful lot, and I had to do an awful lot of refining to get it to work. I'll see if I can just duck out the way so you can get a decent... No, it's not going to work. Let's try that. Yeah, is that better? That might work. Right, now as you can see on the back, it's quite clean, but on the front, it's quite melted. And yet again, that's because I printed it with the back facing the door, and I had the cooling fan, the desk fan, blasting air into the printer, and it really, really made a nice job. You probably can't see it because it's clear. I should have used a different colour, really. You can really see it's quite a nice job. But the stock extruder will handle, you know, 250 degrees for 25 minutes or whatever that took to print out, and it did a pretty good job. I had to run the bed temperature on this at about, was it 40 or 50 or something like that, because the bed was just far too much heat was rising up through the part, and it just kept melting it. So you really have to be careful if you're going to try and do this kind of stuff. Now this is just bog standard ABS. This is a nice purple colour. It's probably not a nice colour at all, to be honest with you. It's just in your face purple. And as you can see, even with ABS, this Ultrabot thing, it melts at the front because you don't print it with support, and that overhang is a little big for the printer, and there's supposed to be detail on the very front of it where there's supposed to be some kind of like circuit pattern or something, and that just doesn't come out. The resolution on the XY mustn't be small enough to get that to work. But I mean, the rest of it works okay, and for bog standard ABS, that's not a bad print. I mean, if you get this piece tidied up with the front and print it again, that's okay. Which leads me boldly on to the final test print I've done. This is another ABS material. It's a bog standard ABS, but there's a story behind this one. Can you see that? Is it going to focus on it? Yeah, there you go. Now, as you can see, the overhang on this one isn't as bad as the purple one, and I don't know why, because it's ABS material. But this is from E3D. That's right, you heard us correctly. Not only did they do hot ends, they do their own filament now, and I think it's the everyday range. Now, I was supplied with a spool of this, and I've run a few tests on it. I've got a blue one and I've got this white one, and I think it prints really well. The cost of it is very good, although you do have to pay tax and postage on the price that's on their website, so the cost of it does increase. It's not as cheap as you think it is, but it's still a pretty good deal. Oh yeah, and the spools are only 750 gram as opposed to 1 kilogram. But you know, if that's what you want to see, that's what you want to buy. It gets you out there, and it's really good stuff. So what else have I used? What else have I used this for? Well, I've printed out an air tripper extruder for the Bowden setup, and there it is. There's the white part in this E3D everyday material. I'll put a link in the description, wherever it's going to be, to this part. It's on Thingiverse. I can't remember which Thingiverse user it was, but it's the BSP version, because I've got the world's hugest Bowden connector for to go in there. So that's going to be the next project. I've got all the parts printed. You know, there's only like 3 bits, and I've got some. Ow! Whoops! Sorry about that. I've got some fixing for it as well, and that'll get the air tripper extruder working. Now the main event is this thing. Yes, I know. I'll put a link in the description to this part too, because this is a bit of a beast. This is a complete carriage, which is designed to fit the DaVinci 1.0 or the 1.0A. It has a little vent here and a cooling fan on it for cooling your prints. And as you can see, it fits the E3D V6. So that's going to be the next project. I had to buy the bearings. They're LM8UU bearings. They're not the best bearings you can get, but they are pretty cheap. And I had to press these 2 in with a vise, because they just wouldn't fit. So I had to press them in, and I needed some screws. But I have to figure out a way to fix the belt to it, and that's going to be the next ongoing project. The reason the project's been delayed is because I signed up to 3D Hubs, and I've been getting 3D Hubs work. So that's pretty awesome too. You know, the system works. They connect you with people who want 3D prints, and I've been doing some 3D prints for some local guys, and they've been awesome. The prints have been really nice. You know, the guys have been really good, and you know, it's an awesome system. Right, I'll just oh yeah, there's one thing I want to show you. I'll be back. So you probably want to know a bit more about this E3D everyday filament. Well, I'm going to show you. This is the box it comes in. As you can see, it's probably about the size of my head. Very technical. It's not very thick. It is too large to fit through a letterbox, so you're going to have to begin when you order it. And inside, cunningly opens it up. Yeah, I know it says blue on the front, but it's white inside, I know. I'll just ditch that. Is one spool of ABS filament. They also do everyday PLA filament. I don't know if you can see that, or if it's upside down or something. Probably goes that way. There you go. And it's awesome stuff. It really is awesome stuff. It's well worth buying some, trying it out, and giving it a go. E3D, if you're watching, there is one thing I don't like about this filament, and I hope you can change it in the future, because it's going to waste us a lot of money. See these two holes here, where you push the filament through when you're storing it? Can you put these two on the other side, 180 degrees out? Because it means I have to cut almost a full circle, circumference, ring, whatever you want to call it, length of filament off. Because once it's got this kink in, I can't feed it back through the extruder. So I've got to cut that off and wrap it round. And if there was holes at the other side, I would only have to cut half of it off. So if you could do that, that'd be great. But apart from that, as a print material, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Can't fault it. Oh, everything's getting a bit shaky. Everything's getting a bit shaky. See, I'm getting too excited now. Right, what's next? I've actually got everything written down. First time ever. Because I've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Right, so, yes, the next thing I want to talk about. I'm thinking about getting another 3D printer. What? Yeah, I'm thinking about getting another one. I'm thinking about buying the Prusa i3. I think that's how you say it. Prusa, yeah, probably. But I'm going to get it with the heated bed so I can do ABS on it. Now, the reason I'm going to do this is because, obviously, with the 3D hubs we're coming in, I can't start messing around with the DaVinci because I need to have the printer available to print some jobs out. So, I'm looking at getting the Prusa to mess with. You know, maybe fit the E3D V6 to it in time, see what it looks like. Try doing some Ninja Flex with it and things like that. You know, and just see how much I can do with it. It's not in stone yet. If I do get it, I don't know if I'll do a time lapse of the assembly. It takes 20 hours to assemble it apparently, and you know that's going to take a long time to film. That the 7 phases in the E3D update for the DaVinci, they took an awful long time to film. One of the videos was 9 minutes. I think it ended up as 9 minutes, and it took 6 hours to film and edit. So when I get the Prusa, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there already about assembly of the Prusa. I may just assemble it and then do... Sorry, I thought I saw something move. Bit weird because like there's nobody else here, and I don't have any pets. That was creepy, to be honest. Is that somebody from Five Nights at Freddy's? Hello? Probably. Yeah, the Prusa, there's a lot of stuff out there about assembling it, so I might just build it and then show what I'm going to do to modify it or to get things to work on it, or show the settings and stuff. Like I said, I don't know. It is pie in the sky at the minute. I just don't know. Funding could be a problem for it, or it might not. I mean, printme3d.com have got it in for £399 for the kit, which is that's a pretty good price if you ask me. You know, you get free delivery on it and things like that. So I am tempted, but we'll see. We shall see. Well, have a look at my list here. Yeah. Well, that leaves us to one final thing. I'm working on a bracket to allow me to film the DaVinci as it's printing, so I can do better time-lapse videos. And what I've done is I've done it again. I've picked up this, and before you all start going, hey, that's one of those cameras that you strap to your head when you're on a surfboard. No, it's not. It's a copy one from China. Can I say a copy one? It's got a screen on the back, and the other ones don't have that. So maybe I can't say it's a copy. Maybe it's a alternative. There's a good word. That'll get us out of it. This is an alternative to the GoPro. Damn, I said it. I wasn't going to say it. This is the SJ4000. It records in 1080p. It records at 30 frames a second, and it's got the 120-degree fisheye lens on it. And as you can see, it's pretty teeny, you know, it's pretty nice. And you can probably hear the printer in the background. It's printing a bracket which kind of like mounts to the door. When you shut the door, it points at the job, and it should have like the you know what I mean. It should be able to see everything when the bed moves and that. So that's going to be the next thing. So if my time-lapse videos start looking a bit kind of like fishbowl-ish, you know, it's because I'm using that instead. I just wanted to show it and let people know what I'm thinking, because if I start doing it, people are going to, something wrong with your computer. What's going on? My screen's broke. It's not. It's just me. Don't worry about it. And yeah, the other thing is this video camera here that I'm using to film on. It's rubbish. It really is rubbish. The quality on it's rubbish. I mean, I bought some daylight lights. Got a, it's an old bed sheet really. Background with some 3D printed parts and a stand and stuff to kind of like blank the room out. And it's still not very bright in here. I think it's because the lens on the camera is so teeny and really should be bigger to let more light in. So I'm looking at replacing it. I don't know when that's going to be, but it only records for 32 minutes and then you get a massive gap. That's alright for, you know, cutting video together, but for gaming videos where you just want it to be like 40 minutes, 50 minutes or whatever, I don't want to keep chopping them up and putting short videos in and stuff like that, so I'll have to see. But anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Yeah, check out Chuck's channel. Oh no, there isn't. There's one more thing I wanted to say. This here, this SJ4000. The reason I picked it up is because I cycle to work. Yeah, I do cycle to work. I do live in England. It is cold. It rains, but I cycle to work. I'm quite mad, really. And it kind of like straps to me helmet. Now, when I picked it up, I watched a couple of reviews, and there was one in particular who really stood out, and the guy is called Techmoan. I'll put a link in the description. I'm not pointing this time because that just looks stupid. The guy's called Techmoan. I'll put a link in the description. Check out his channel. Absolutely fantastic guy. You know, he goes to the far end to review these things. He does car camera shots, motorcycle camera shots. He takes it out in public. You know, he does all sorts of stuff. And watching his review of this SJ4000 made me part with £60 to buy one, because I was just sold by it straight away. So I just want to thank him for doing that review, you know, getting this out. I want to thank Chuck for, you know, giving us the inspiration to do this print. And like I said at the beginning, thank you to all the subscribers, thank you to all the viewers. It really does kind of like, it really makes us happy that people are out there, people are watching the videos, people are even finding time to think, yeah, I like what this guy's doing, I'm going to subscribe to his channel and see his next video. That's just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. But thank you very much again. And as always, please like, comment and subscribe. I've been Steve. Thanks for listening.